Welcome to our start of the season tradition that we do at the beginning of every season. Jeremy goes through the rulebook and makes live updates so that way he can be thorough and doesn't forget anything. So here we have the ABL rulebook. Well, you know what? Since we have two new players and we have one returning player who hasn't played in probably over a calendar year, I'm imagining Kyle hasn't played, at least league format that is. We're going to dive into the ABL rulebook starting from Section 1 team makeup. Rosters will be made up of at least 11 drafted Pokemon. One Pokemon from each tier must be selected. Teams cannot have more than 13 Pokemon. The combined number of Platinum and Gold tier Pokemon on any team may not exceed 4. All that I think is pretty self-explanatory. The tier lists are out. I guess I should pull them up here on the side. Bip. Bop. Boop. We're going to pull up the north. So here's what the tier list looks like. So can't have any more than 4 of these. You can have up to 13 Pokemon. So if you have met all your other requirements and you want to save some draft capital and get extra iron tier or extra bronze tier Pokemon, you have the cap space to do that. So there's that. A team can drop any Pokemon and pick up another during the regular season in exchange for a free agent. This will be referred to as an ad drop. I believe I outline it later, but those transactions I'm going to ask for them on Tuesday. They need to be submitted to me before Wednesday morning when I post them. When they post them Wednesday morning, they are final and cannot be changed. Each team will be limited to 5 ad drops per season. That is not included with trades. If you want to make trades with another team, that's fine. Those would have to be submitted at the same time as ad drops. Team salary must not exceed $1,700. So, as you can see here, Platinum 300, Gold 200, Silver 150, Bronze 100, Iron 150. So all combined, the ones you have to do are going to total 800. So you really have like 900 points to play with, essentially. You have 5 mandated picks that are going to total 800, and then the other 900 you can spend as you please, but you must draft at least 6 Pokemon with those 900 points. So, yeah, you get the idea there. That pretty much covers team makeup. I may have to circle back to this because I don't know what the language we have in here about terrestrialization is, and I'm going to have to make changes to that. So the draft order will be chosen by random lottery. That's what we did. We may not do that every season, but I feel like it's more fun this way. It definitely made sense these past 2 seasons to do it that way. Maybe we'll change it, maybe we won't. Actually, something that we did discuss. We have this relegation system. So the bottom 2 teams in the north are going to be moving down to the south the next season. I don't think this is necessary to put in the rule book. So if you finish in 7th or 8th place in the north, you'll be moving to the south in season 20, assuming that we have the same structure. If you finish as one of the top 2 teams in the south, you will move up to the north. So regular season of 7 weeks, you're going to play each team in your division once. And this is more specific to the South, is that you're going to have the 4 best teams are going to go to playoffs. And if you make it to the finals game, you get promoted to the North next season. If you win the finals game for the South, if you're the South champion, you will get the number 1 overall pick in season 20. So keep that in mind. The draft will continue until all teams have their salaries depleted. I guess I should put some sort of like caveat in here. Like if someone drafts 13 Pokemon and they still have cap left, A, that's stupid. And B, I still think we'd probably end the draft. But I don't really expect that to come up. Oh, draft will proceed in a snake pattern. I skipped that one. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, here's a draft board. Dakota's going to pick, then Jabron, and so on, down to Curtis. Curtis is then going to, after he makes the last pick in the first round, He's going to pick first in the second round, and it's going to go in reverse order until we get back to Dakota. He's going to have the last pick of the second round, and then have the first pick in the third round. And don't you see where this is going? Each team will start with 1,700 points. We got that. All draftable Pokemon are split into 5 tiers of the specific point value, as listed here, as reiterated before. Trades can be made during the draft. This is something I don't see a lot of people take advantage of, and I kind of understand why. It's a little difficult to make it work. But if you want to say to someone, hey, I'm afraid I'm going to get sniped for, this Pokemon, pick that for me, and then I'll pick this Pokemon for you. You probably need to make some other considerations, like I'll swap picks with you in a different round. So yeah, that can happen. It doesn't happen a lot, but it can. Pokemon's movesets and abilities at the time of the draft are the only ones permitted. Let me pull up my calendar. Let's just pull up a calendar here. Calendar. I don't want to use my Google Calendar. We'll see what happens. Is this my work calendar? No, this is... Okay, this is just... Never mind. We're not going to use this calendar. Let's see if I can get this framed up in here. Okay, so we're drafting here, right? Oh, God, come on. Oh, whoops. I got to look at this screen. So drafting here to here, probably going to be done by here or here, okay? So that means week one battles are going to be due on the 7th. Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, end of the regular season, semifinals, finals. So that means the final game of the season of season 19 will be on October 2nd, or potentially earlier, but if in the event, I don't think this is likely, because Pokemon Company said the first part of the DLC, the turquoise mask or something, I don't remember, teal mask, I think. That's going to be coming out in fall 2023, so it could potentially coincide. If it comes out and there's new moves and new Pokemon, that will not be involved in this. Any Pokemon that you have, if they get a new move from a tutor or something, you're not going to be able to use it. So keep that in mind. If a fully evolved Pokemon is not present on the tier list at the time of drafting, it will not be draftable. I think we have everything covered. Brett's done a really good job of going through and making sure everything's actually there. So, should be good. Battle restrictions. This is where I'm going to have to make some changes. Any fully evolved Pokemon not present on the tier list are banned. That just keeps me from having to list like a whole bunch of legendaries and stuff. I'm going to pull up the Google Forms over here. I was going to say on the side. It's going to end up being right in the middle of the screen. So, Forms, Season 19, rules and ban votes. No, not resume collecting responses. I should be able to edit this. This is embarrassing, guys. Hang on. Is this? Yeah, here we go. Responses. Here we go. So, Espathra was banned just by the skin of its teeth. So, Espathra out. Goldengo heartily in this time. Big controversy about it last season. I figured we'd revisit it. Still in. Hoopa Unbound. Barely made it through with a do not ban. We've never had Hoopa Unbound in the league. It was banned for a very long time. It's got 170 attack and 160 special attack. Only 70 speed, and people are going to be like, oh, but it dies to U-turn. That's great. I don't know why people bring that up like it's a big indictment on this Pokemon, but still. Mew back in the league. We talked a lot about the stuff that it lost in the moveset and or move pool, and that makes it in. Regieleki ban. I think that one's pretty obvious why. Roaring Moon just barely scathed by on do not ban. Me and Brett were talking about this. We both had it last season. I think it's good, but I don't think it's broken. But you know what? We're going to go with what the majority says. Sneasler. I didn't give a choice on like ban or don't ban because we're just not playing in a league where Dire Claw is a thing. I don't think it's competitive, and also it makes some weird interactions with like the sleep clause that we have. So it just can't be in, and everyone decided to keep Sneasel and get rid of the broken ass move. I still think it'll be quite good, so that's nice. Ursaluna, do not ban. Yeah, makes sense. Urshifu, Rapid Strike. I thought this was a closer vote in hindsight, but yeah, do not ban. Interested to see how that one shakes out. I think it's very good. I think it got better. Volcarona, this one's banned in, like, these two are banned in OU. So that's basically why I had them on here. And it looks like probably the same sorts of people thought ban versus no ban. Same split here. Walking Awake was suspected at one point. It's going to be Premier Weather Sweeper. If someone drafts this and Torkoal's not on the team, or Pelipper for that matter, I'll be pretty surprised, but it's a very good Pokemon. Zamazenta Hero, still allowed in OU, but everyone seemed to agree, ban here. Lash Specs, Rage Fist, Revival Blessing, and Shed Tail, all banned, not really surprised. Terrestrialization, this is the big one. So one person voted ban. By the way, just fun fact about this ban vote, because I had been keeping track of these the night they put out. So I was able to see one person's ballot. I'm not going to go through and find it right now because that's an enormous waste of time. But someone went through and voted do not ban on all of these Pokemon. Went through unanimously, do not ban, do not ban, do not ban, do not ban. Except for the Sneasler thing, but they voted do not ban essentially. They got to terrestrialization, and the person who voted do not ban on everything voted ban on terrestrialization. It could have just been clicking willy-nilly and not thought about it, but that's how it shook out. But we're doing 3 Terra Captains. So, only 3 Pokemon on your roster will be eligible to terrestrialize in a given week. You can change that week to week, depending on your matchup or just how you're feeling. But when you have to do that, and when transactions are due, which we'll go over later, that is, and that's all the Pokemon that can terrestrialize. If you terrestrialize a Pokemon that is not permitted during the match, it's a forfeit. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's the way it's going to be. Some people might be like, oh, but what if I act like I'm not thinking and I click the terrestrialization button? We played how many seasons with Dynamax buttons sitting right there in our face and nobody did it. Except, at the last game of the season, just as a troll. When it was for nothing and they were losing. So if you want to do that way, fine. Just, you need to know the consequences. You're going to forfeit the match if you terrestrialize a Pokemon that is not permitted to terrestrialize, that is. You can terrestrialize, you're supposed to. Okay, so I'll definitely have to put something about terrestrialization in there. I'll find the right spot to do it at the end of this. Fully evolved Pokemon not present. We talked about that. Bright Powder and Lax Incense are banned. So no evasion boosting items. I don't think there's any other items we need to ban. Somebody let me know if that's incorrect. Endless Battle Clause. There's a couple of ways you can create an endless battle. I don't know if they're still involved, but it involves like having recycle, Lepa Berry, fling, block, and recovery move. You can basically make a battle go on forever, so that way, it's basically like, hey, quit or I win. I don't think anybody would do that because that's not fun, but you can't do that. If you try to make an endless battle, you're out. Evasion clause, you can't, no double team or minimize. I don't think there's any other way to boost your evasion, sans maybe acupressure if it's still in the game. Moody clause. Moody is banned. Can't use Moody. No matter how many times you draft Glalie, Mitch. Oko clause. No Fisher, Guillotine, Horndrill, Sheer Cold. Uncompetitive and just no fun. Sleep clause. You cannot induce sleep on more than one Pokemon on the opposing team at a time. So, if a Pokemon is put to sleep by a random event like Effect Spore, then the battle will be played without penalty. There's very few times that this clause will come up. But if it does, that's just really awful luck for whoever it happens to. So if you spore something and you spore another Pokemon, we need to figure that out. It happened a couple of seasons ago where kind of they had to play around and fix that problem. But yeah, you can't do that. Please watch out for that. I'd hate to have someone forfeit a match because of something like that. So just please don't. Can't use swagger. This one I don't feel too strongly about. I mean, I'm keeping it in there though. Like everyone, we voted on it a season or two ago. Everyone agreed, just leave swagger out. Baton Pass clause, you only have one Pokemon on your team. Of the 6 that you bring that knows Baton Pass. We don't want to be Baton Pass chaining. Like, there's some Pokemon that get it's just not an uncompetitive play style that people shouldn't plan for. Yeah. Baton Pass clause is out. If you have any questions about that, let me know and I can explain it in more detail. Species clause, you can't have 2 Pokemon with the same Pokedex number on the battle. There's some stuff about regional forms and rotoms here, but basically what this means is if you draft Gyarados, you can't bring Gyarados twice to a match. That's what that breaks down to. Rage Fizz, Slash Respect, Shed Tail. We voted on another move, or another ability, or another move? Revival Blessing. Did I not put Revival Blessing in last time? Well, got away with it that time. Revival Blessing is banned. Dire Claw is banned. Okay. Ooh, we escaped a season without anybody using Revival Blessing. I think we were waiting on that last minute on the vote. Z moves may not be used. Shouldn't come up. No moves that were removed from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet may be used. I don't know if we have that list anywhere. And I don't think we're playing in Nat decks or custom games, so it still shouldn't come up. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. If the team violates any of the rules outlined in Section 3, the match will be forfeited. Season 4, team structure. All teams will face each other once. Weekly structure is as follows. Add, drop, and trade requests are submitted on Tuesday. Transactions processed Thursday through Monday. Battle. I guess you can battle earlier than Thursday. Oh yeah, change of the schedule may be made in special circumstances. Let me know if that comes up. Each player will play 1 match per week. I don't know why I have that phrased in there like that, but it doesn't really matter. Matches can be completed earlier if agreed upon by players and both players involved. Battles not completed within the time frame specified in Section 5, Article 2C, that's this one, will be declared a draw. If a coach is either unreachable or unaccommodating to make the battle, the commissioner can declare the match to be forfeited. Lack of prep will not be a reason for requiring an extension. I don't like giving extensions just because people are like, hey, we didn't get to it, we forgot. It'll be a draw then. I'm going to be a stickler for that. I have been for the past few seasons. That's what's happening. Okay. The 2 teams with the most wins go to playoffs. That's oh right, we changed how playoffs work. Okay, so the 4 teams with the most wins go to playoffs. Don't have any of this anymore. Okay, so that can all go away. All teams that advance the playoffs will be seeded based on the regular season wins. Good, that can stay. 5 teams with the most wins. Playoff team with the most wins will play the playoff game. Against teams with the least wins, the winner will move on to the division finals game. That's just not what we're doing. We're just doing that. Great. 2 teams remaining in the playoffs will battle, and the winner will move on to the finals game. A little bit wordy, but this is just the quickest way for me to go through this. And then we can get rid of this. We had a kind of a experimental playoff picture last season, so there's some extra words in here. Something that we don't have to change. Primary tiebreaker is head-to-head. The only reason we're going to have to... So, we have all these other tiebreakers. The only reason that's going to come up is if we have like a 3-way tie in record situation. And like, if I beat Dakota, Dakota beats Logan, Logan beats me. Got a rock, paper, scissors situation. So, and if we all had the exact same record, then we'd also have to move on to this. Or draws. So if you avoid draws, you can avoid a lot of this stuff most of the time. Secondary tiebreaker is strength of schedule. So everyone's strength of schedule is going to be pretty much the same this time around because you're going to play everybody. And then the tertiary tiebreaker is the winning percentage of the opponents that the team wins against. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Quaternary tiebreaker is the winning percentage of the teams with the winning percentage of the teams that have been beaten. The losing, maybe that's worded poorly, but what it comes out to is the losing strength of schedule. If you got beaten by really good teams, that's better. You know, if you're gonna lose to an undefeated team, that helps your quaternary tiebreaker. Not that that's something you should take into you should shoot for. It's just something that can help you out. Quinary tiebreaker is the Pokemon remaining in wins. So if you win 6-0 versus 5-0, that's better for you. Centenary tiebreaker is the opponent's Pokemon remaining losses. So if you get blown out in a loss. Following that is a head-to-head battle. If we go through all 7 tiebreakers and they're all the same numbers, then we do a head-to-head battle, or if both players agree, a coin flip. Teams are made of 6 drafted Pokemon, and blah blah blah. All the obvious stuff. You get 6 Pokemon. If you wanted to bring 5, you could. I don't think you should, because I don't think it's helpful in any situation. If someone can come up with a situation where it's helpful, let me know. But the rules say 6. We'll just go 6. Week 5 will be the final week where trades are allowed. This is because that's when the playoff pictures, teams start to get eliminated from playoff contention. I don't want teams to start, because by the way, if you want to trade Pokemon for Pokemon, you should always be trading Pokemon for Pokemon, but if you want to trade them for draft pick consideration in future seasons, you could. I don't think there's anything stopping you from that, other than I think we had it happen once where somebody traded a Pokemon for a better pick in the upcoming draft, and then that player wasn't in it. So basically they lost out on that. Week 6 will be the final week for ad drops. That means going into playoffs, before you know your playoff opponent, your definite playoff opponent, you need to have your teams locked before playoffs. You can't make changes once you see you're playing in playoffs. Transactions. And drops must be submitted for 12 a.m. Wednesday coach's local time. I don't know if we have anybody out. Oh, we have Brett outside of the Eastern time zone. If anybody else is, just let me know, so that way I can kind of adjust accordingly. Ad drops must keep the same structure described in section 1. In case of complex ad drop, dropping a certain number of Pokemon for more or less Pokemon. So if you're dropping let's say if you're dropping a Platinum tier Pokemon, and then you want to pick up 3 Bronze tier Pokemon, that is only 1 ad drop. If you're dropping 3 Bronze tier Pokemon to pick up 1 Platinum, also just 1 ad drop. If you're dropping 2 Gold tier Pokemon to pick up 4 Bronze tier Pokemon, that's 2 ad drops. Whatever side of the transaction has a lower number, that's how many ad drops it is. Yeah, minimum 1 transaction. I think the only reason that would come up is if you dropped 2 Pokemon, so that way someone could trade you a Pokemon that you've just made cap space for, and then they pick up a Pokemon. Somebody tried to get away with that, got it covered. When 2 teams agree to a trade, it must be approved by the commissioner. So both of you are going to have to tell me the trade, individually, just that way I know that you're both on the same page. Got to keep the same team structure. Commissioner ruling. This is my get out of jail free card. Should an event not explicitly covered in sections 1 through 5 arise, the commissioner will retain the right to administer a ruling that deems to rectify the situation. If I have missed something, that is everyone points at it oh, come on, that should obviously be against the rules. If we recognize that, I retain the right to fix the problem. If it involves me, should a conflict of interest arise, the ruling can be levied by a designated player with no conflict. It'll probably... You know what? I think maybe this will go to Zach. Zach's not playing this season. He knows the league pretty well. I think he can be impartial. I think we'll probably say that this is going to be Zach. I'll get in touch with him about that. So I just need to put in some rules for Terra captains. I think we'll put it in team makeup. Each team we'll have, you know what, I'm just going to pause the recording while I do this. Oh, I've been recording the whole time. Oh, now that means I have to edit. Okay, so we added each team. We'll have 3 designated Terra Captains. These will be the only Pokemon on their roster who can Terrasilize. Terra Captains can be changed weekly. This should be capitalized because I capitalized it before. When ad drops are submitted, so that will be on Tuesday. I don't think I changed enough to change the whole version, so we're making this version 10.2. Okay, if I missed anything or need anything to be clarified, please let me know. But that concludes our rule booking. Thank you all for listening. Draft's coming up soon, so I'll see you then. Goodbye.